Hello and welcome to Courtesy Flush. Tonight I am joined with Hatt, who is going to play Ultima 2 with me. Hello.
I am very much indeed. Hello.
We're going to try to play Ultima 2.
More gold, Your Majesty.
Wow.
Right in the face.
That's quick off the bat. Let's get this going. All right.
Hello, my favorite bird man, other than Attorney, and the Hat Man too. Hello. Yeah, we're going to play some more Ultima 2, which is a game that we have been attempting to beat for a while now. We have finally found a purpose for our quest. Tonight, we are going to blow some people up with our cannons, and then we're going to go to 1990s. We're going to go travel to the land of flannel and grunge music, and we're going to basically get level ups, because 1990s is, if you guys missed out on the 1990s, that was the one time to level up. So I'm sorry if you were born later. I missed out on a few level ups myself, even though I lived in the time. If you missed out, it's just unfortunate, and we have to try to find some other way to help you with that.
Even I barely got a few years in. I mean, I got some, but man, it was a rush.
Yeah, it's a good thing I packed my flannel. So yeah, let's hop on over to Ultima 2 here. Let me bring over the main game screen, and there he is. Oh wait, hold on one sec. I forgot to do my favorite thing to do with this stream, which is to give Hatt nostalgia feels, which is what I do every time I start this music. Mm-hmm. There you go.
Oh, this defines such a large part of my MMO youth, I should say.
Indeed.
I mean, I made some of, like, one of the closest friends and longest friends I've had in my life. I met through Ultima Online. Ran my own shop, have my own community, and know even the guy I run community today with, Canium, Garmin, that's his name. He joined my Ultima Online server back in the day, and that's how we got to know each other.
Yeah. So this game has got a lot of history for you, and I think the fact that we're getting a chance to play the old ones, the originals, is pretty cool for us, because I have heard of these games growing up. My grandmother played them all, and she was a very big fan of Ultima Underworld. Like, I think that was the one where she was like, "That's the perfect one for me." I seen her play that pretty much up until the last year she was alive. She still played that game. She loved Ultima Underworld.
Hell yeah.
So, yeah. But yeah, this should be cool. Hey, Fancy, how's it going? Anyway, let's hop right into the game.
Let's get going. That didn't respond. P? Oh wait, no, there we went.
Can you move?
Let's make sure. Yes. All right. Now, we had been in this dungeon, and this dungeon trip didn't go terribly well, even though I would say we held our own for a while.
Oh, yes. I think we've done pretty well, all things considered.
I agreed very much. So I would like what?
Oh, what?
I was gonna say I would like to start with a bit of BLAM as
Okay, we're gonna start with a little bit of BLAM.
Yeah, yes. I would like to do BLAM a little bit here. This guy,
well, he's dead now. He tried, unfortunately.
He tried
to make it. Oh yeah, Toilet Obliterator, hit us with that story.
I love story.
Yeah.
Tell.
Indeed. We're currently walking around. We're doing a bit of a patrol, if you will, of the northern seas, searching for anybody who is of demon-like culture or make, like this person over here. That's an orc, though. That's they're just they die immediately. They die if you breathe on them wrong.
They do. They are quite pathetic. I mean, I can't remember the exact wording, but the manual description for Ultima 2's orcs is pitiful. These creatures are not in any sense impressive.
More pest than peril, the not bright orc is a prolific product of a foolish experimental genetic mating of human and boar. So it's just a bunch of boarmen.
It's man pigs.
Yeah, they're just going around oink oink on the shore angrily, and we just shoot them.
They're not having a great time.
No, and I completely understand why.
I do too. Oh wait, no, hold on a second. Just before we go into the kiosk here in the town, I just gotta roll down the windows and yep, all right.
Well done. What are we going into this town for?
I think there's food. Maybe that's my head saying.
Yes, there is. I just needed to know what you were looking to get because I can help you find it. This is the town of Leicester. Looks like Alfred's Fish and Chips is to the northeast. Should you be interested in some Alfred's Fish and Chips? These are all invalid moves. You cannot move the cross.
I'm just like
to the left.
insistingly
Or,
going
sorry, to the right.
Oh. Yeah, I was gonna say east. That must be right.
Oh, there it is.
Ah.
Fish and Chips. Alfred's Fish and Chips.
Alfred, I need your macho chips and fish. Please provide.
Transact.
I need resources. Oh, yes. Transact. Want one.
Oh, do you
Why?
Do you want one? No onions? Yeah, I don't want any onions in my fish and chips. Hey, Handicoat, how's it going?
Your fish is quite mighty and powerful. I should like more of them, so I can be macho satiated. Oh, yeah. Let's see.
It's cost 52 per 100. Yeah, you're just going to hook up on some food, huh? And then we're going to go back to doing some more pirating?
Yep. I just want to, like, really overdo the food, so...
Well, right, because we have to go to different planets at some point.
Exactly. Like, I don't know what the hell's going to happen, so this is just...
There's not a lot of astronaut ice cream to get us to
Precisely.
Mars. No.
All right. Actually, just going to go stage right, as they say.
Oh. Stage right.
Oh, I can't... Stage right... Oh, I can't do that.
Yeah, you can.
Oh, yeah, I can just go to the forest. Duh. Oh, shit. Going so hard.
Majesty.
All right.
Toilet Obliterator has said, last night, about 2 hours before last call my restaurant, 30 people came dressed up like pirates. They ate and drank about $1,000 worth until someone pulled out a sword and the barkeep called the cops. They hauled ass out of there without paying the tab.
Oh, up until that part, I liked the story a lot.
Yeah,
If they had paid the bill, that would have been cool. And like, it would just.
My bar was robbed by pirates. The story.
It is a story. I'll give you that much. It's pretty good.
My bar was robbed by pirate. That is a really good story, actually.
That is a real good story. I'm just gonna get some more hit points before we also go.
Okay.
Just to because we can get a bit more gold and what have you on the way.
We definitely.
As we travel yonder future. Something.
Indeed.
Wait, how does it go again? Transact?
For my first for my 50 GP tribute, and for it I raise thee 300. Yay! You yell.
It's just because you had to yell something.
Lord British is startled for a moment as you yell yay.
I beg your pardon, Lord British, but I had to yay there for a moment.
Can you take your jubilations outside of my court?
Very good, Lord British. I should just require a few more...
I don't need two jesters.
I completely understand, of course, your Highness, but...
Didn't you die in Ultima Online?
No, not at all. Why would you say such a thing?
No, I'm talking to Lord British. Didn't he die? we always point that out, and he has to go,
oh, right.
Why do you keep bringing that up? That was one time.
Yeah, look, that was a cross-dimensional error through time flow, and it was not supposed to happen. And just because everyone got to see it, everybody has to make a huge deal out of it, okay? It didn't happen. It was one time.
You stabbed me, the creator of your fun world that you get to have. That does sound like a human being, though. Like human beings meets God, and it's like, let's fight. And he's like, why?
That's right. Oh, check out. We have 5,000 HP and 666 gold.
No, it's funny because if most people who go meet God has to go like, are you Japanese teenagers? Oh, thank God. They always try to fight me. I don't know why. They always seem to be interested. I'm like, okay, here's a version of me that looks like a giant mollusk. That's me. And then they have a victory dance and they walk away, and that's it. I don't remember creating them. Oh, there's a man standing on the shore looking quite miffed that he didn't get aboard.
I say, he looks like he missed the boat. It's like, oh, just my luck.
I had bought a ticket like every other person.
Yes, I was here in good time and then leave before schedule. This is rather unsatisfying. I should like to present thee with a negative review, sir.
Yes, Lord British, more like Lord got punched in the face. Yeah, exactly.
Oh.
At least in Ultima Online. Lord British is the lord and creator of this game, and a fine fellow indeed.
Turn the music just down a little bit.
I can't do that before you. Once I set my audio, I have to alt tab out for you.
It's just for some reason this is uncharacteristically loud. I feel very patriotic.
You do have the option to turn your audio down, however, in Parsec.
Oh, I do?
Yeah, you do.
Oh, that's right. I'm
not 100% sure what the button is, but it is there, and Mecha has to do it every time because Parsec sends you like the most loudest version of whatever you're playing. Yeah,
I've suddenly become acutely aware of this.
Okay, are you good?
Sound on and off? No, wait. It doesn't actually give me a slider. Oh, well, fuck. I'll just live with it, I guess.
Oh. All right, once you're back in the game, it'll unfreeze.
Yeah. Because there's just... I can turn the sound on and off. I guess I could just... That's no fun.
Yeah, I don't know how you turn it down anymore. Here, I'll just do this. I can't believe the audio is that loud for you. No, there is a volume button for you. I just don't know where it is because I don't log into other people's things. There we go.
All right. Let's go. I was surprised about the sudden volume increase as well. It's just the Ultima was perfect.
Yeah, I don't have I should probably level those out. I can't believe it's not Hatt. Yes, be responsible for yourself, young man.
No, you're quite right. You're quite right. I shouldn't put this on. Shouldn't put this on you.
Well, it's quite all right. I don't mind helping. It's just that I have to like lower the game. I have to minimize the game, and with these old games, I'm always worried that one alt tab is it. It happens an awful lot in a lot of the games we play, where it's like if I have to alt tab to fix something, we're probably not getting back in the game.
Right? Yeah. No, I get you. It's fine.
Because Gabriel Knight 3, I'm really surprised we got that working. That was kind of a journey because it does work with all the glide wrappers and all those DirectX wrappers and stuff people have out there. If you're not aware, there are DLL libraries created by wonderful folks out there to maintain a game's ability to be played on modern systems. And what it does is it wraps around using like old DLL library, like DirectX 9 and stuff like that. OpenGL, Glide, if you want to fake a Glide game. I typically like the way Glide looks on games designed for it. But it's, your mileage vary. And yeah, it does work in that regard, except when you decide to full screen it with somebody else playing it, or have music for, which it almost didn't. And I figured out what it was. And we had to use this other program, another wrapper, which allows me to put these games in their own confined window, almost like an emulator. And it emulates like a smaller fraction of the screen. And for some reason, resolution is like the biggest problem with playing these games. Macho Bobbits. Did you guys ever visit Satan and beat him up? Not yet, Fancy. We're on our way out there, though. Trust me, we have to first obtain powers that we don't have.
Exactly.
We're also very fortunate that we did not buy a Haunts. Because they actually, I read in the manual, they actually double the food consumption.
Oh, no.
So Macho Bobbins is just shoving his mouth full of Big Macs, and then he's just doing the same to his horse, Or fish and chips.
You have protein needs, just like Macho Bobbins. You must be swole.
You'd never fed a horse fish and chips before? I mean,
come on. I mean, have you really horse-ridden if you haven't done that?
That's true.
You're just pretending in most cases if you say that.
So where's the old space shuttle rental in this Ultima? It's actually in the future, in 1990. We actually have to get a whole bunch of stuff that we don't have right now, like a vacuum suit and money. We need those two things in order to make this game work the way we want it to.
And we're going to pay about 100 gold for every attempt at the Hotel California at an attribute point. So given that, we need more ka-ching. So we are on mission Enrichify. Creaming the crop. Oh, yeah. I can't really do much, but because I never really watched Macho Man.
Yeah, growing up, he definitely was somebody who was just like not afraid to just do whatever.
I actually took it upon myself to like do a short investigation on Macho Man and like to see how, because originally I wasn't buying the gimmick, like how the way he sounded and everything. I was like, he must have sounded different.
He talked like that all the time.
Well, that's the thing. As far back as I could find, like even like when he looked much different and even had a much more calmer demeanor about him, it's still that whole thing was like yeah, like that was still like he was doing that and talking that way. So I was like, no, that really is how he talks, I guess.
A comfy afternoon of ALAKAZAM, would you say? Indeed, we are going to do ALAKAZAM. First, we must do the Blam, and then we'll do ALAKAZAM. We are currently at 796 gold. We need quite a bit, actually, in order to gain stats, which is what we're doing this for. As soon as we have gained enough stats, we'll travel to the year of 1990 to the town of New San Antonio, where we'll take a reservation at the Hotel California. And once we have checked in, we're going to check out, unlike the song. And we're going to level up. Apparently, he levels us up randomly. Imagine if that's your level up in a video game nowadays, like in modern games. You had to go to some guy, a bartender in the middle of like one period of time. If you weren't here in 1990...
it's this random blitzed, slightly crooked wizard in a bar. Like you give him some gold and he might cast a spell on you.
Well, I think it's also funny because I remember at the time when I was younger, even though I know this game predates this, I remember when Pokemon Red and Blue had a event at Toys R Us, and we had only one Game Boy Color between the three of us that we could play. And we had the two games. We actually had to get another game because they realized they couldn't just get one because then we just overwrite the save game. And my sister didn't care to play it very much, so it was just me and my brother playing Red and Blue. And we were using the one Game Boy, and they had this event at Toys R Us where you can get a Mew, like the 151 Mew, transferred to your Game Boy, and we went there and we did that. We thought it was supposed to be this big special crazy event because you had this like scratch off ticket and all kinds of stuff, like you win a Mew. Like they weren't gonna give you one, you know what I mean? Like you're a bunch of kids excited outside of Toys R Us. All they're doing is sticking a link cable on your Game Boy Color or Game Boy or whatever you had, and it would just transfer the Mew right in there, and you just had it in your game. And I remember we were like, we can never delete our save games now. Like we couldn't fight each other, we couldn't transfer Pokemon between each other because it was only one Game Boy. So we treated that thing like gold.
That's no wonder. What an experience.
Yeah, so that's what I'm thinking this is like. You can't level up unless you went to this one event in 1990 at the Hotel California and get juiced up. Whoa. Nessie got a little upset there. There's a video of Macho Man where he asked if he ever cries without breaking character. He gives a great response without being about being true to your emotions and never giving up. Fucking legend.
I am still oddly fascinated by Randy Savage, Macho Man, but again, I can't. I try to do that whole oh yeah, but
it sounds good to me.
Yeah,
man, we didn't have Game Boys. We got in the
Texas
ROMs early.
Much better at it.
It's funny, Ogawa, because of the Game Boy thing. That's exactly why I got into ROMs, because I was more technical over my brother. My brother was the brawn, I'm the brains. That was like our kind of duo thing. And so I was like, you know what? I want to play Pokemon 2 and not have to wait my turn. So I finally got into ROMs and stuff. And this was before I understood what piracy was. I was just like, how do I make things work? Back when Google was Google was not a really great search. It was best search engine of the time.
Man, oh man, yeah. Well, it really. I remember. Now I'm gonna sound old. I remember internet before there was such a thing called Google, or even like.
Oh, me too.
Any really functional search engine of any kind.
My earliest moment on the internet was quite literally going to AOL chat rooms. Back when AOL was like just starting to really do its big blast out to everybody.
Mm-hmm.
We got 50 hours free, and then 2 years later, it was 500 hours free. Like, it was like we were so blown away.
Yeah, it was a bit of a different thing in Denmark, but we had similar things. Like, different internet companies tried to do like these net portals where they kind of custom built your internet experience with different kinds of like links and stuff.
Yeah,
it was very tacky, and it was sort of like. I mean, I like the attempt at trying to give the internet an interface that isn't what we have today. Sort of a more fun, inviting experience with like fun videos and shapes and stuff like that. That wasn't.
Yeah, more images for our brain to imagine.
Well, exactly.
Images we would have never have had access to otherwise.
Yeah. No, I remember things like even besides IRC, which I think I used a lot. Things like Westwood Chat, because one of the first games I played and really loved was Command and Conquer. It was like I was really into Command and Conquer back in the day, and then later Quake. But yeah, Westwood Chat, and then later it became. Was it ICQ then, or was there something before ICQ? I don't remember.
Yeah,
ICQ became a thing. Right, that BBS, but no, I was thinking more like instant messenger.
I didn't bother with half that stuff. It just seemed like if it didn't have anything to do with video games or like cool extreme sports stuff, I didn't care. I wanted to do bike stuff all the time. So I was a very I was a very optimistic kid in the 90s. I wanted to just do all the biking stuff. I wanted to do like the
more gold, Your Majesty.
That whole thing those kids did in Rocket Power on Nickelodeon. That's the kind of stuff I wanted to do. Like I wanted to be that kid on the who could jump from a skateboard onto a bike and do all that stuff.
Yeah,
that was my whole thing. Modem internet is too corporate. Bring back fun internet. Oh, modern internet. Yeah.
Yeah, I had a friend from Texas.
We were made fun of for using it. So.
Using what?
The internet. People were made fun of for using it in the 90s. It's treated as like the most nerdy thing you could do.
Yeah. No, it was very quickly associated with that whole. Actually, like that where
send
very
out an
quickly
instant
became
message, you know, and those people are now like in their 60s, like I'm trying to send an instant message.
But I had a friend in Texas who used to describe like. When he first imagined the internet, like he was older than me, was that he actually thought the internet would be much more like Hitchhiker's Guide kind of galaxy, you know, the thing that's described as the.
Well, a lot of the terms on the internet are based from that book.
Hmm.
Did you know that?
A lot of the what?
A lot of the terms on the internet are based on Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy terms.
Like
Babelfish.
Babelfish?
The precursor
Google
to
services.
Yeah, precursor to Google Translate was a thing called Babelfish.
Yeah, that's right. I remember Babelfish or Babelfish.
Yeah, it was very
Babelfish?
You call it however you like. Pronunciation. Right. I understand what you mean. I try not to be. I'm not like the kind of person who gets on people about their pronunciations of words.
No, but
I always hate when people do that to me. I'm like, whatever,
no,
man.
I didn't mean it like that. English is my second language.
Yeah, no, it's perfectly fine. It's what I said. Like, I understand you. So
no, I didn't mean it like that. No, what I mean is that I am actually quite fascinated by English, and so I'm always curious as to. I want to find out simply for curiosity's sake.
And Mighty Python, yeah, correct. Why do you want to use the internet when you have an encyclopedia right there? It says Ogawa. Yeah, exactly. Spam, right. Yeah, exactly.
Spam, spammity spam.
Yeah. I was trying to remember, what did I do? Oh no, I remember the first thing I did on my school's computer. I was in, I think, the second grade. We were at the time learning how to type again, because I've been learning how to type since the first grade. They made us all take it because for some reason in the 90s that was like a really big initiative for schools to have, which was typing or computer literacy. So I took a lot of typing, and it was like by the English teacher who, because she was the same one who did cursive, and if you fucked up your cursive, she'd smack your hands with a ruler. She was old school. And everyone fucking hated her.
Holy shit.
She got fired, fortunately. She was not supposed to do that. I remember one year she did that. No, she did that for like 3 years I was there. And then the fourth year, she was gone. I was like, oh, typing's over.
Right. Oh, well, that's...
It took one parent to just come in and say no.
Yeah.
It's sad. It is. That it was taken away because some lady just couldn't fucking help herself. All the terms in Unix were based on the Greek underworld mythology, yeah.
Bluetooth is in reference to Harald Blåtann, which is a Norwegian king.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yes. No, that's where it's from.
I didn't know that at all.
Harold Bluetooth.
Yeah, the only thing I know about... the only thing I really know about that culture, to be honest with you, is quite literally just the. God, now I forgot that. I guess I am not that great. I'm not a good person.
No, it's fine. Look,
I know the story. He comes into the hall and he screams really loudly, and everyone's like, "Could you please stop it?" Because the king had an illegitimate child. My brain just forgets the story name now. I'm not a smart person.
It doesn't ring a bell. I'm trying to do my best here. But it sounds like a cool story. I mean, that sounds even worse now.
No, she was wearing like all that 80s old lady stuff, if you're wondering, HA. I remember her very clearly. I didn't like her at all. Because anybody who hit me like that, I immediately remembered who they were. I was like, I don't want to go near him ever again. The symbol for Bluetooth is based on the runes for Harold Bluetooth as well.
Yes, his initials, right? Yes.
I didn't have a typing class. I had speech class because I grew up speaking Irish and English, and I would replace the words with both all the time. Oh, wow. Yeah, Irish has a slightly different dialect in English, so I can imagine that must have confused some people.
English is a very strange language because it's based on such a mixture of things, which is why there are parts of English that we share, because it literally is from parts of
it's a very homogenized language.
Yeah, well, it's a mixture of things. It really, really is.
The symbol, so I remember also at that same time, we were all trying to learn typing, and I remember in the second grade, I printed out my first ever report on a printer, and that was the hard part of that report wasn't the report on Abraham Lincoln. No. The hard part was
get it printed.
Yes, was getting the dot matrix printer to work on my own. Yeah. Because I didn't have anyone else I didn't have a Google to call on. I was like quite literally like, I don't know how this works. I guess I'll just keep fucking with it, like.
Yeah, no. People think they have problems with printer nowadays. Holy shit.
Fortunately,
those things were monstrous back then.
I printed it all from MS-DOS. I wrote the report in like DOS edit. because I was like, I was like so fascinated with like being able to do all this on a computer. And then that slowly faded when I got on a bicycle. A different side of me opened up.
Hell yeah.
Now I'm at that age where I've had enough falls on a bike where I'm like, I don't do dangerous shit. I'm like, no thank you.
But you've also gone to a different state of matter almost, in that when you were a kid, you're made of bouncy shit. When you get older, you suddenly are made of pottery. It's really annoying.
Yes, that's true. Hey, Jack, how's it going?
It's not that you, in some sense, like your mind changed or anything. Like you're still in that mindset, like you're still rowdy and like a child, basically. It's just you're well aware you can't act like that. It's not possible.
English is a language that takes other language behind the shed, beats it up with a shovel, and steals its words. Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, that's one way of describing it. It's one of the good ones.
It's funny because a language is rarely ever like. It's often associated with culture, but it's also something anybody can just use. You know what I mean? It's a really weird concept. But I guess we gotta yell at each other somehow to understand it.
Well, exactly. Well, that was the great thing that was and is about English, is that it's a great language for people to learn and to communicate in as a common trade language and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's really good because it involves so many commonality for lots of different languages and language groups. And I also happen to think, incidentally, this is why we are seemingly almost organic. I know that like lots of other reasons almost forced it to, but I don't think it's completely accidental that we ended up with lingua francas, or lingua anglais, as they say, whatever.
Hey, Big Willie, how's it going, man?
I think English is just a great language in general. It's one of the easiest language to learn, as far as I can tell.
English also has simple grammar, making it easy to go to.
Mm-hmm.
English has jumps other language. It takes their spare words and syntax. Yeah.
Yeah. That's true.
Yeah. Well, yeah. And growing up, there was only one other language or two other languages that I was taught to try to study. I never did, like most kids in America, where you're given a language class, but most people don't take it seriously because this is a country where almost everyone speaks English, and they're completely ignoring the fact that there's a massive part of this country that speaks Spanish. So I never took a Spanish class, funny enough, but I ended up taking a French language class when I was doing school, and my cousin also then made us take Japanese as well, because she was the teacher. You know, it was her class.
Did you enjoy, like, say, Japanese or French?
They're fine languages. They're very difficult to learn. That's what I learned from it.
Yeah. I mean, I know nothing about Japanese, but I did at one point want to try to eventually learn speaking en français, but I should have stuck with it.
It's a tough thing to choose, because you're like, I'm going to pick a language, and you're trying to stay in your lane, you know what I mean? But you're also like, but I also don't want to pick a language I'm not going to be able to use. Because if you're not going to go to Japan or watch a lot of Japanese television, you're not going to really get a whole lot of use out of knowing Japanese.
Exactly. And I think that's also part of the problem, is that my wish to learn French is mostly having to do with that it's just, I think it's a cool language, even if it's arrogant and snooty, but it is also, it has its charms in many ways, and that's really it, and that's kind of why I bet you I'll never sort of really stick with it. But I know several languages. I know Danish, of course, that's my native language. I know how to get by in German. I can get around in German society. I know English passably, I think. I can imitate.
You speak English well enough that I would never have guessed that this was your second language if it wasn't for the fact you have an accent. That's it, because you speak it so well.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Thank you.
It's really interesting to me because that makes me think like, well, gosh, if he can learn English, like what's stopping me from learning Danish? And then I look at your language and immediately go, what the fuck? Why? How do you even use your tongue in this way? I don't know.
No, especially that part. The tongue part, man. You almost got to learn that from childhood, otherwise you're lost.
Yeah.
No, you're not wrong. And this is one thing. Also, if I could somehow extend the world, it's like there's nothing wrong in sort of just stating the obvious of what is clearly there. Like we won't get offended. We know our language is difficult and dumb. We had to learn it for God's sake.
Spanish is also an English language, relatively simple as it sounds, or not as weird. For instance, French, where half the word disappears in its pronunciation. Yeah, I didn't have a problem with French that much, but I just didn't stick with it. I just kind of let it go. I was like, all right, je m'appelle Michel. That's it. That's all you need to hear. My name is Mike.
Yeah.
And I'll just say it that way with my accent because I have no qualms about anyone else using their native accent in the languages that they wish to speak. But there are some people who cannot, for the life of them, hear someone else from another country say something in their language without correcting them. And I'm like, stop. I will never do that to people in America. Except with the presidents. I will correct you on that. If you look at a president and you say the wrong one, I'll have to correct you. It's the only one. That's just America. You can't stop that.
Oh, that's fair enough.
Yeah.
And now let's see. Ogawa Cass says Danish is funny. Copenhagen Danish is different from Jutland rural Danish, where no consonant exists in the east. I think she means west.
That's Jutland is. Yeah, they regret. Oh yeah, you just had a regional American accent. Says Oh Huckabee.
Right, but that's true in some sense. It's very true that western part of Denmark, parts of the peninsula that's called Jutlands, things that's sticking out from Germany, and the eastern part, which is where the capital area is, the dialects are very, very different from one another. I'm actually if you were to classify me in, say, the context of America, I would basically amount to a redneck. That's where I come from. I come from a dinky island in a small fjord, in basically where people are farmers and just as they say, simple folk. That's my background. My father was a carpenter.
And it HA says, I had to learn French in school, but went to club and learned Japanese as well. My brain literally started overwriting French vocabulary with Japanese. When speaking French, I slip into Japanese. Easiest way to learn a language is to teach it. I'm a teacher and picked up Japanese class when we timetabled 5 classes at the same time, but only had 4 teachers. Never fluent, though. It's true. Actually, that works pretty much with any subject, Banjo, that I've found anyway. Personally speaking, like the only reason why I've gotten any better at any of the stuff that I've been doing with editing or streaming and stuff is because I was just teaching this to kids on the basic level. Like I was just showing them how to get started because all of them wanted to know, how do I do YouTube? And this was before streaming was really huge. And then when streaming started getting bigger, then they wanted to do that, and it was like, I just over time through osmosis and wanting to show them how all this stuff works, picked it up on my own because there was no like expert on Twitch in like 2015. You know what I mean? Like I wasn't for sure. By that point, it was like I was like, man, they already turned off Justin TV and switched it over to Twitch. That was my brain.
Yeah, I bet that was like a whole thing. What the hell?
Back when the channel was just called The Crow's Nest. That's actually what this used to be called.
The Courtesy Flush used to be called Crow's Nest?
Yeah, it used to be called The Crow's Nest.
Damn. Well, we have come very far.
Yeah.
From nest to toilet.
It went from Crow's Nest to Courtesy Flush in 2017.
It was you and Michael that thought of the thing, right?
Yeah, me and Michael. Yeah. And Michael also taught kids and still teaches, I believe.
Hell yeah, you go, Michael. You're awesome.
Diagonal Smith says, it was taught English, Spanish, Mandarin, French was all you needed in life to get by as far as language in the world goes. Oh yeah. That's what I was taught too as well. English, Spanish, Mandarin, and French for getting through the world and in like a business aspect. In the 80s, it was definitely Japanese, but I don't know if that's true anymore. I've never actually... it's funny because I grew up in the era before anime clubs and all that stuff existed. It was all like just weirdos on forums. Still is, but you know what I mean.
Right.
So schools didn't really have like anime clubs or anything to get interested into speaking Japanese. My cousin, though, loves anime, so she got a super... Like, we were already like watching, what was on Cartoon Network at the time. So we were like, oh yeah, I love Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z. It's so cool. And then she's like, oh yeah? Have you ever seen this? And I'm like, but they're not speaking English. She's like, yeah, isn't it awesome? And I was like, yeah, kind of, I guess. I still think that way. I'm like, I don't know if that's I'm like, I appreciate that with martial arts movies having the original language in it, especially with most foreign movies where you can actually see physical people. But with animated films, I'm like, you don't have to baby me. You can put English subs in this. I'm not going to be one of those guys who gets mad. You could, as long as the person you get isn't like quite literally just, you didn't let anyone else watch this before showing the public. You know what I mean? Like, give yourself a chance to like test some of these guys out before you put them in your show. Let the people decide. Like, I don't know if I want to watch 10 seasons of this voice. Jai Draken, Kriken in meinen Schlaf.
Yeah.
Die Seal, Wolfen
I think it's some...
Blend. Oh, this is from Gabriel Knight 1. This is actually the... Three Dragons.
It's a poem, isn't it? Or
yeah, that's because the only words I knew.
Drachen means 3 dragons.
That's all I knew, and I was like, I put that together.
In meinen Schlaf. They fight in his sleep. Or am I completely wrong?
I don't know. I've never actually had the whole thing.
It's been a while since I've lived in Germany, but I'm also passable, and also I know passable Swedish. Just don't tell Owl that.
It's funny because I didn't know the full translation until I played the game. Until I played the remake of the game, because I remember when I first played the original Gabriel Knight, I just got the answer. Like I didn't bother knowing the clue. It was my grandma or my aunt or one of the two who was just like, oh, it's 3 o'clock or something to that effect. Just through the answer. So I didn't know the answer to that. So that's pretty cool, man. Yeah, I've been watching Gabriel Knight. Oh yeah, with Nick, now Mecha. Yeah, Mr. Nick from BPL actually started playing Gabriel Knight with us. And then I think around we played Star Trek Academy, Starfleet Academy, which is one of my favorite FMV games. It's awesome. But the controls for that are really dated and hard to work with. So he was just like, you know what? I'm good. He just stopped. He was like, I can't do this. And this is not the first time I've had that kind of reaction to older games. So I just, some people are just like, I can't do this. And it's completely understandable. There's some mediums just not for some people, but I don't mind. I actually really enjoy playing these games.
I guess it can. I mean, the colors are kind of weird, and I guess it can be difficult also because they're very old games and that sort of thing. But
when I was younger, growing up, and we actually had my grandmother's Nintendo, we didn't have like a second controller, so I sat there and we just talked while we just played video games. I've been doing this since I was a kid.
Well, exactly. But also, this was the point I was about to make: is that with this kind of stuff back then. It's gonna sound weird, and I know it might sound a bit cliches, but you have to understand that back then, at least for someone like me, and I think for also a lot of people, we had never seen anything like this before.
No,
like this had never happened anywhere. Nobody's ever talked about any of this stuff before. This was completely new piece of technology, and it was so sci-fi. Like, it was so unbelievably cool. At least it was for me. It's just like the computers and and like having these games and all that stuff, like, even like just straight up what was called Pong, when that was like a just ancient game station that basically that was the game it can play. I can't remember the name of it, but even that, having never seen or heard of anything like this before, this was like mind blowing. Now today in reflection, it might seem a little like how could this ever be impressive? But it was so.
Well, back then it was also like your imagination is the only thing that kind of keeps these things.
That's all you had.
Because the technology for graphics in video games was very limited. Like what you're looking at is probably what a screen could draw. And that was it.
Probably, yeah.
At some point, you just start smelling smelling ozone, and you're like, yeah, it's time to turn the computer off for the day, you know?
Yeah, I think that's a peak irradiated room at this point.
No, you just smell that burning electronics, and you're like, oh, it's time to turn the TV off.
Right. Yeah, you did have to give it a break now and then. That's right.
So the game that really taught me WADs was the first Jedi Knight game, 98-ish. Yeah. I never played it. I watched someone else. That game, I've missed out completely. That game looked pretty cool. I would have probably been jazzed to have that as a kid. I'm a big fan of the... I just like Star Wars doing like cool flips and stuff. I like the idea of doing duels and things, but none of the games ever feel right. Like I played Star Wars Unleashed, Force Unleashed, that game, and I was like, it's just not. It's like I just feel like everyone's like a bullet sponge or a lightsaber sponge.
Yeah.
And
exactly.
Fallen Order has that to a degree, but there are like enemies that are quite easy to just dispatch, like the stormtroopers or the little bugs. They just get cut in half, and I'm like satisfied. I'll take the boss health bar people anytime. Just give me free cool enemies to go slicing with my laser sword through. Make me happy with that, and you get a solid game. Okay, see, like, cause look, when we had the lightsaber in the last game, that was it. We went the lightsaber in the last Ultima. We were just slicing people in half.
Oh, I mean, also there was that that old. I think it was did it come out in Commodore 64 first? I think it was called was it called Barbarian? That one where you can chop the other opponent's head off?
I don't know. I've never heard of this.
There was so I think it was called Barbarian or something like that. But it was this old Commodore 64 game where the whole point of it was that you would be sort of two Conan the Barbarian-esque warriors in an arena. And you would square up with two-handed swords and try to kill each other by slicing different parts of you. And one of the moves you can do is this kind of twirl and then high hit towards the head area. And the opponent's head would come off, and this little goblin, like after the head would roll a bit and they're blowing, this little goblin would come in and drag away the corpse.
That's so fucking cool.
It was really metal.
Yeah. Rukat says, yeah, it's Barbarian.
There you go. I'm so glad my memory still kind of works.
Oh, he just called you over to the shore. The siren's call of his own death. There we go.
Yeah, well, cannon. Oh, yeah. Oh, we can't move. He disabled everybody's legs, including the ship's legs. My sea legs.
Apparently, the guy at the Hotel California gives you skills based on your move count.
Right. So, does that mean if I've moved a lot, or what?
I don't know. That was the description. Just all I got. The mysteries of Ultima 2, and apparently the third one is probably I think it's the hardest, or I think this was supposed to be the hardest. I'm not sure. We're not having to. It was hard in the very beginning, but now we're like, hey, we have a fucking boat, man.
Man, I don't care what's going on. We got a goddamn boat. It's gonna be excellent. Do you realize how much swag, booze, and everything else we can have of this baby? Oh yeah, cream of the crop.
The next game we play, I wanna see if we can get Diggs to play something with us. We can always play Shadowgate or some fun co-op game.
That would be great. Diggs is great hanging out with.
Yeah, I always liked hanging out with Diggs, man. I know he's always got like a ton of things going on.
Well, that's the thing.
Yeah.
Diggs.
So do I.
Diggs
does
basically everything.
Yeah. He's like a super busy dude. I'm very similar, so I get it. I just like playing with him. CD64 Gustbusters can listen to the chiptune for hours. Yeah, I actually never played that game, but I have that song on my computer because I'm a weirdo and collect theme songs. Don't judge me.
Hey, one of the first tunes I wanted to learn playing the guitar was Red Alert, so I'm not even gonna
fuck yeah,
start.
dude. Which song? Was it Hell's March?
Well, of course it was. Duh.
Okay. Well, sometimes I don't know. Sometimes there's a track in there. Some other people just they click with it. They're like, I love this bass in it. I'm like, hey man.
Well, there are. I really like. Second to Hell March is definitely the first album or the first Command and Conquer. With like, there's the first. I'm not even sure if I'm the only one who really digs the first soundtrack for the Command and Conquer out there, but I really like especially the one that's called something like having to act if you want to live in a different world. Then it goes like dun 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 dun. Like I really dig that tune. I can't remember the name of it.
Hell's March can be monstrous levels of awesome. Yeah.
It really can. It's such a powerful tune. It really.
Frank
really
Klepacki is an amazing composer. That's what.
Frank Klepacki. That's the guitarist who does it. He's really awesome. He's also really a weird, like he has this really weird blue guitar that's oddly shaped like it's a spaceship. So yeah, he is a bit of a weirdo, but he's cool. So that makes up for everything. It's kind of like Richard Garriott. Richard Garriott is also kind of weird, but he's really cool.
Yeah, I agree.
Like I don't at all blame him for having this castle with all kinds of like hidden passages and all that. Like
yeah, that's just people. I'm like, come on, man. He's living the nerd dream, right? Like he's quite literally like. Everything I thought about, like, I'm like, what if I win $1 billion? What would I do? And I'm like, the fun, like, I would just be taking care of my family, but they're like, well, what about the fun thing you'd do? And I'm like, Richard Garriott was onto something. He was onto something.
Exactly. Yeah. And this is what I keep telling you. Every time someone's like, oh, Richard Garriott's kind of weird nerd. I was like, isn't that kind of weird for an adult to like blah, blah, blah. And it's like, okay, listen.
Look at what we're doing.
Yeah. Like, look, listen, if you were a nerd and you really dig this stuff, which I do, and love games and the medieval storytelling, I like all the rest and going on adventures, and you get loads of cash, I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm not gonna. Of course, I'm gonna build like a magic castle-esque kind of, or maybe not a castle, but like a sort of do weird nerd fantasy stuff with my house and like really go overboard in some areas. Of course, I'm gonna do that. Secret tunnels? Oh hell yeah! Of course I am. Are you crazy?
Secret tunnels. Hey, and also Jones McBones. I love TIE Fighter. Star Wars TIE Fighter. Excellent game. Well done.
I love TIE Fighter. It's one of the main games I played that got me into really like playing any Star Wars game was TIE Fighter.
I was very lucky, very fortunate. I had a chance to play I don't know if it was I don't think it was TIE Fighter. It was another Star Wars game. It might have been in an arcade. I'm trying to remember if it was TIE Fighter because it looks very similar, but I'm like, I can't say it was. But it was inside of a booth. The door closes and it's got like it's like the screens kind of surround you. It was very old. I'm assuming from like probably early 2000s or late 90s. Yeah, probably X-Wing. I think you're right. I think that's what it was.
Well, there was a different version of these. Yeah, the one that came before TIE Fighter was X-Wing, wasn't it?
I believe so. And yeah, this machine was it was excellent. They was in pristine condition.
Nice.
With the Battle of Hatt on the first level. Yeah, that's the one. Act on Instinct was the name of the song. Yeah.
That's yeah. Someone out there knows their thing.
Also, the We Are Going to Have to Act song is Act on Instinct.
Yeah. Whoever said that is incredibly correct.
Oh, Huckabee and TNT Engineer.
I love that
both.
tune.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of a really like groovy tune. You sort of like because it's not going too fast and it's one of those like we're going to war. Like it's a tune you can drive a tank to. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You know, actually,
Gold, Your Majesty.
If I won the lottery jackpot, I'm making every year-round Fantasy Festival, and no one can stop me. No, Ren fairs are awesome. Just run really fun ones, and keep it in the same place. That's all anyone wants. Ren fairs like to move around and shit. No. Just find.
Do they?
But they do. Find because the venues change and times change, and people need to put different things. So anyway, get a big giant fucking big empty field of land, just trees and whatever, and then make a village in there and say this is the Ren Fairgrounds. Make it a permanent location. And for goodness sake, make sure that there's some snow there, because you got to have some Oktoberfest and Christmas Yuletide stuff.
I think we could do this. Like, look, I'm not up to speed with American geography and sort of how the climate is, but I think, because I once looked into what would be the same climate kind of as Denmark, and we have kind of both things. New Hampshire is sort of in the right hemisphere for this, if you really wanted that kind of different climate.
Yeah. Well, we went to one in Wisconsin, actually. It was really nice. We went to
interesting.
Just probably like back before, it was like back in late summer, early fall. We were down there visiting friends for weddings. I believe June, somewhere in there, July. But we were
Your Majesty.
We were visiting. We went to a Ren Fair at the last day, and it was pretty wild because I don't think any of these people had been outside of their house in like 2 years, so they were like, it was way overpacked. Like the staff were like, oh my god, but it was cool. I mean, but the place is actually yeah, it was like a permanent Ren Fair location. I was like, this is a brilliant idea. Build your own convention center. Stop using these big convention centers that basically just take forever to get anything you want. If you have $1 billion, just build your own, man.
Yes, but I completely agree with you. Again, as a nerd, like if that was a thing, like I would exactly do that. Get some land and then tell these Ren Fair people, like, all right, stop going everywhere. Go here. And you can use it. It's fine. It's
Columbus,
mine. You can do the whole thing.
Indianapolis, Chicago, all those I get it.
Right.
Conventions all around. That's cool. No, we need to have land that is specifically for that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, if you're going to have like a Viking convention, are you not going to have tons of timber ready for all the pyres you must light in honor of the glorious dead? Are you kidding me? You can't just do that at like the convention center in Columbus. You know what I mean? Like,
but it's worse than Mike. It's worse than that. You know why it's worse?
Why?
Because if you don't have wood, you can't light the fire that is necessary for you to fight the girl's dad, whom you intend to, like the girl you intend to date.
Yeah, you have to fight her father.
You have to fight her father. You can't do that without a fire. So how are you gonna?
What if you gotta fight her father and he goes like, all right, I'll fight you. You step up, and he puts the sword down. I yield. Have my daughter. I don't wish to injure myself further. I have a very expensive health care plan, and I'm currently undergoing treatments. My daughter is a very proud and very strong lady. She can take care of herself. Yes. She doesn't need me. And that's the current dad. That's what dads these days.
Okay, but that's not. Look, if you ever want to be Viking, you can't. That's not the right response.
It's when you go to her and her dad is like the Undertaker. You know what I mean? Like
yes. No, you have to have the
opens
attitude
the door
of the
and he's got these tats and he's got like a fog underneath wherever he walks. And
yes.
He's like,
yes.
Hi, how you doing? Dating my daughter.
And Captain Banjo asks, is that legit? Vikings have to fight the girl's dad? This is where it gets funny because yes, it is legit. Like it is a real thing. It's called Torsfighter. And what it is that if you were indeed set upon betrothing this lady upon whom you have wooed, one of the traditions was in old society in Scandinavia was for you to come in and be welcomed into the family. You would sit down and be welcomed to the family and sit down in front of the fire and stuff like that with the father of the family. And, talk for a bit, jovial and stuff like that. And then when it comes down to business, either pronounce this and set up the event for you to fight the father, or he punches you straight up and the fight's on. This could happen. So, and if you didn't win, you would be thrown out. Like you were not fit.
You're not fit to even be in the household.
No, you were basically told to leave and ejected. And this was a real thing.
Yeah, but here's the thing: if the daughter really wants to be there with you, she'll be like, "Just go for his left leg. He's got a weak knee." And, you know what I mean? But if she doesn't, she's gonna be like, "Oh, please, defeat my father. I really want to be with you.
Yes, I really just
really.
Exactly.
Well, where's your father? It's this man here, the Undertaker.
The Undertaker. Yeah. You really know what footing you're. It's like, oh man, like.
Are you sure it wasn't that guy over there? No. This one's my dad.
No,
I promise
this guy.
you.
This incredibly powerful man with the 10 different weapons. And yes,
I like the idea that
the
the ladies then have to also do the exact same thing. They have to do the exact same thing. Like, well, I don't know. You have to defeat my dad, Han, before you can date me.
Right.
And you just say, the dad just looks like, you're fine. You can have him, please. Take him out.
You can have, like, for God's sake, just
get this man out of my house.
Captain Banjo says, "What if you fight dirty? Sneak up and hit him with a 2x4. Is that okay?" No, it is not. You're likely to get killed if you do that. Honor is a big part of the only thing. A large part of how some of these things work is through an honor system. Your honor is worth gold, more than gold.
Yeah. Here, my love, grab a folding chair. Yeah. She's got to fight your mom. Oh yeah, that's good.
So there's nothing that says in Torse Fighter that you can't use a plastic folding chair for Torse Fighter. If you're in the right circumstances, there is one handy. You can. There's nothing that says you can't. So
these are great ideas. I'd hate to. What do you have to do if you're like, hey, Dad, I want to have a cat? Like, what do you have to do to earn the cat? Like, what's the thing that you have to do for that? There's no ritual. Like, all right, well, in order for you to have a feline companion, you must understand its nature. You must go out and hunt. Bring me back 40 dead mice caught with your own bare hands, and you may have this cat. You're like, oh my god.
Yeah, holy shit. I gotta do that, man. This is a rough society.
If you wish to share this household with a feline as your brother, you must learn its ways. And you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
And the mom's like, you can get the cat. Don't worry about that.
Yeah, it's fine.
The mom over there, you know.
I mean, some of the ancient Norse stories about, for instance, Thor and his carriage and his goats and stuff like that. One part of that is that they sometimes just straight up eat the goats and they regenerate.
Yeah.
So imagine having that for a carriage. You just every so once in a while you just eat the animals that's dragging your cart. But like Norse mythology and storytelling is full of this thing, and ancient society of this kind of thing. There was even a story about, I can't remember the name of the Vikings in ancient times, where one of the ways that they were to be executed is you can be sort of standing facing forward and have to sort of bow your head and they chop your head off. And this group of Vikings, they had fought very bravely. They'd been sort of nonetheless caught and now somehow put to trial or put to be executed. And one of them, being the badass he is, he was probably also the leader. He supposedly tells them, well, look, I don't want my hair to get sort of messed up and dirty and damaged from having my head chopped up. So I need somebody to hold my hair while you're doing this thing. And they thought that's such a funny complaint that we're gonna just play along. So they got this random dude to
New
just
Zealand
hold this...
is just full of fucking monster. I look at New Zealand just covered.
New Zealand's just a monster city. What the fuck?
Yeah.
So anyway, back to the execution.
Yes. So they were holding his hair, and I thought that was such a funny thing.
Yeah, they thought of the whole thing about having his hair hold up this way so they don't get damaged by the axe coming down his neck. That, you know, they have this guy holding his hair, and supposedly what happened was by the time that it came to the swing, as it were, what the Viking, because this is what the Viking guy did was that he then supposedly pulled back very suddenly, causing, instead of hitting his neck, to continue down and chop off the hands of the guy holding his hair. And the guy who had put him on trial or execution thought, and everybody else thought, that this was so hilarious that he had just complete defiance up until the ends. And just like, no, that they let him go. And he said, no, not unless my men can go too. And that supposedly they let them all go.
Wow.
But that's the story.
They're probably like, he was probably like, man, this is gonna make for a great story. Yeah, you're gonna go. Because that's like that was a big part of the culture, wasn't it? Like storytelling was a huge part of that.
Yes. No. Scandinavia storytelling is a huge part of our I would call it story as a nation and as a people. Storytelling is a huge part of that. And some of it obviously is.
So you guys play by the rule of cool.
We do, but it's also sometimes these stories are a composite of things that have happened, in order to kind of compress knowledge, if you will. It's like data compression. So this, like the story, while maybe not completely accurate, it does say something about our ways, or in some ways our spirit and our culture, which is this. You know, we think we have a great fun with this and sense of humor, and we're defiant even if we know this is it. We're not like we're going down swinging.
Indeed. Oh, this is also a good point. We should probably try to go to through time. I think we've got
California. Yep.
We've got 18 level ups that we could get with this. Because it's 100 gold per.
You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do it.
So that portal you're looking for to get there, we're going to need to go to the Time of Legends. So we need to go to North America, which is on your left there, because I could see Florida. Yeah, we're going to go to North America because this is 14.
All right, 23. So we got to go up here. Oh, wait, I just got to blam out this guy.
Yep, so it's in northern Canada. Little Nordic Canada.
So here?
Style. Yeah, right up there in Canada.
All right, then.
Oh yeah. It stuns you while you're right next to her. You're like, my feet may not work, fool, but my hands can still swing.
Oh, yeah. It's o'clock. Oh, yeah.
I miss having the cannons.
Me too.
There we go. Wow, he had a big chunk of money on him. Story is also big in Ireland, but mostly to lie to some poor schmuck and then make him do something stupid.
Mike, is this it?
Yes, this is the portal.
Oh, fuck, can't move.
Damn it, we've missed our turn because we got paralyzed. Living in a place with weather and climate like Scandinavia would teach you defiance.
It does. Well, you have to be. Everybody always sort of talks big about, Denmark is such a people of the happy. You don't understand. You either succumb to depression and everything else from this horrible place, or you learn defiance and take matters by the balls and force them to be better, and smile about it. That's the best you can do. Make a joke. It's funny, isn't it? Squeeze. No.
We also have to once we're in this next gate, try not to rush into battle. Because we are going to the Time of Legends, which is where our foe actually lies.
Ooh.
The sorceress, the wife of Mondain, whom we have murdered in the last game. Defeated handily, I should say. Yeah, we don't. This is the Time of Legends. We do not wish to go down that corridor unless we have a death wish.
No.
All right, so we need to go on the far right portal. I believe. Let me double check that.
All right.
Legends. Yes. That would be Aftermath.
Excellent.
And then from Aftermath, we go to North America. Northwest America. There are 4 portals. There should be one more.
I'm guessing it's going to be right here in front of me. There it is. All right.
Welcome to Northern Canada, I think. Yeah, so here is where you need to go next. Now that you're in Aftermath.
I see there's the Canadian...
Yeah, you're waiting for this time gate right here.
Okay. I was just noting the Canadian Loch Ness monsters. The classic Canadian Loch Ness monsters, yes.
This is what happens after the devastation of our planet. Canada is mostly dried up. Florida's gone.
Monsters. Yeah, Loch Ness monsters sort of like chill at the coastline in Canada.
It's funny because all the coastlines in America are just underwater. The northern the northern coastline of Canada is just gone. Most of I think Toronto's just gone.
Where,
and then there's a giant
exactly?
volcano in the middle of Asia. Britain is just destroyed. There's no island there, really. We'll have to go check those out at some point. But yeah, there's a giant volcano. Canada isn't real. Canada is a conspiracy made up by Big Sur. All the way up in Vinland.
Big Sur. Vinland, yes.
Oh, there you are.
Oh.
More gold, Your Majesty.
Oh, Malark the Matter just threw 200 pennies at us. Thanks for the courtesy, man. Says some buddies are trying to make Time Cab When 2 from Knife Fight Cineverse as a 10 to 20 minute short. Can you recommend any novice-friendly editing software? Yeah, just message me on the Discord. I'm actually in the Discord for the Knife Fight City Cinematic Universe as well. So just find my thing in there, message me, man. I'll definitely walk through it. I don't want to sit here and prattle off about editing software in the middle of this right now. But I'll definitely talk to you about that. Absolutely. Yeah, we are now in 1990 AD.
And where do we need to go?
New San Antonio.
Where is that?
North. We're in South America right now. So you're passing Argentina.
Oh, okay.
And now we're gonna go up.
I'm not American.
Through Mexico, and there it is. There it is. New San Antonio.
Is this all right?
1990.
Hell yeah! Oh, look at all the Chaz just hanging out here.
Oh yeah, these guys are really strong.
You see us flexing? You see, we gotta like really show you we're flexing. Oh yeah.
That's customs.
Okay.
All right, the next place you need to go is across the bridge to the west is the Hotel California. And then we need to talk to the man there in the corner.
This guy, probably.
Indeed.
Offer gold?
Yeah.
Let's see. Offer gold direct. How much
100?
times 100? 1.
Oh,
Thank
1.
you very much.
Yeah.
Yeah, times, because it says times 100.
All right, let's take a look at our stats. All right.
Well, he says ALAKAZAM when he does anything.
Okay, so our stats are currently 30 agility, 35 strength, 15 charisma, or 15 stamina, 10 charisma. And from what I understand, charisma was a super important stat, but that's okay. We don't need to be charismatic. We're macho bombers. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Whoopsie daisy. All right. ALAKAZAM.
What did he change?
We got more charisma?
We have 4 more charisma. Hey, we're a little sharper. He thought we were so cool, he decided to just give us an upgrade. I was also able to find a table of all the weapons for their minimum agility to use. For a sword, you need a minimum agility of 29. So we have just met that. But for
just enough.
Yes, for the great sword, you need 31. But for the phaser, you need 41.
Damn.
The phaser is
That's
a pretty
hard.
sweet weapon. And for strength on the armors, you have chain. You need 19 strength. You can actually get any armor you want. You have enough strength for any armor in the game.
Oh, good. We should get the power armor at some point.
Absolutely.
Isn't that the best one?
Oh, yes, absolutely. That is the best armor in the game.
Right.
There's also a couple of other things that you can find by fighting thieves and guards, apparently, but you don't need those. Like keys, you can get those off guards.
What happened? Give me more stamina, maybe?
Yeah, your stamina went up. You're getting better.
ALAKAZAM! Yeah, ALAKAZAM! Oh, yeah. All right. More offer.
More power armor. Power strong.
Power strong. More stamina.
That's good. What does stamina do again? Let me double check.
Yeah. Could you like? Good number up. Yeah. Yes.
Stamina reflects your ability to defend against attack. Armor adds to your stamina. Attacks from extremely strong monsters take it and make it all irrelevant. That's what it says.
All irrelevant. So we need it, is what you're saying.
Yeah. Alakazam!
Alakazam! Oh, yeah. Okay.
Strength went up, I believe. No.
Intelligence? 14?
Yeah. Okay. Sorry, I was looking at the screen. Yeah, because it's widescreen here. Because for some reason it does that in this emulator. So it's widescreen on the menu, but not in the game.
I see.
Okay. Well, intelligence is also good.
Macho Bobbins has intelligent muscles. Oh yeah.
Thank you very much. And you're like,
That's
no,
when it doesn't get-
Alakazam. This feels like Dark
No.
Souls, man. This feels like something you'd have to do in Dark Souls to level up.
Yeah.
Alakazam. Your intelligence is 18.
Well, okay.
Dark Souls. I won't say like this is like Dark Souls. Dark Souls is like this.
Yeah.
Dark Souls definitely
Dark
has.
Souls is like nice.
You just got an Alakazam.
I did.
Looks like your
Charisma?
charisma went up. Yeah, you're getting better. This is excellent. We're getting stronger and faster.
And prettier.
Indeed.
Or charismatic. Macho Man is not pretty. Macho Man is macho. Okay. Oh, wait. Offer.
Power armor to Macho Bobbins is merely something to contain that raw, manly chatness. Indeed.
It's very true. It's very, very true. This man speaks only truth.
Thank you very much.
Give Macho more
Alakazam! Yeah, your strength went up to 43.
Strength. Oh, yeah. We need agility, though.
It does. That does help your damage, but yeah, agility would be good. The higher your agility, the better. But not anything over 99. That will actually cause the game to reset it. So don't do that.
Alakazam.
Some integers cannot go over 99. Charisma is now 22. You're getting up there. That's a good skill to have because you can start lowering the price of a space shuttle.
Nice. We need macho negotiating skills. Oh yeah.
Man, we're doing great. Intelligence went up to 22.
So it did.
It's okay to give him all the gold. We're gonna make it back.
Yeah. We've got storage or stock.
Looks like wisdom went up or strength.
What's wisdom for?
Wisdom. It is required to cast spells successfully. That's great because the more wisdom we have, we could start getting the spell light. Would actually be really nice.
You're right.
Because we
must
always
have this spell.
Indeed. And in order for us to get the spell light, I don't think there is one. Yeah, I don't know. I guess we'll have to figure it out. Anyway, last buy.
Let's last buy. Come on. Yes. How much? 1.
Alakazam. Excellent. Your charisma's up to 26.
Charisma.
Nice.
Well,
we have leveled Macho Bobbins up pretty well.
Oh, what level? 13. We're level 13, by the way.
We're level 13. Our stats are doing great. We have to make some money now in order for us to buy spells, to buy better weapons.
More gold, Your Majesty.
And then we can start taking our fight to space and then to the realm of legends, where we will destroy every single one of those monsters swiftly. Now, here's the thing, Hatt. Remember in the beginning of this?
Gloriously. Yes.
Remember in the beginning of this how we were like, oh man, the Hobbit is very much, you can't like do very much with it in a strength capacity. But now we're like, wait, but what if we did? And it still works. Being a Hobbit is not a bad thing.
It is not. Macho Bobbins is truly a mighty Bobbins.
However, if a dwarf does come up, I think that is one we shall choose. Oh no, we could have in this game. Oh well.
We're currently just boxing Loch Ness. It's like, come here.
Ooh yeah.
Oh yeah.
It ran away.
Flex.
You punched Loch Ness Monster away from the fucking shore. And it's dead. Dude, your stats are so much better.
Yeah.
It dropped its lunch money, and now you're just like, I feel better.
Macho Bobbins feel macho therapeutic. Oh yeah.
All right. Well, I think that should be good. I think that's pretty good. All right. Well, we shall return again. You have to X to exit the game.
Oh, right.
Exit what? Is it Q?
Q?
Quit or save the game. It was against Q. Yes, Q. Okay, we saved the game. Anyway, we'll be back again probably tomorrow with Sven Co-op if everyone's available. Maybe. And then in about, I think like another hour, we're going to do Werewolf the Apocalypse over on WBPL 76. So tune in over there if you want to watch us do some horrible shenanigans as werewolves. So that is where we'll be. Anyway, Hatt, this has been most enjoyable. Thank you very much for joining me. And
thank you for having me.
That's wonderful discussions we had.
We do.
Yeah, we
really do.
With that said, let me bring open the. Yeah, let's get this. Yeah, there we go. The music of the hour. Ah, yes. All right.
Oh yeah.
Have a good night, everybody. I'll see you soon.